12 years of school, maybe 4 years of college, maybe more. Thousands of hours of instruction across dozens of subjects. You learned calculus. You learned the causes of World War I. You learned the periodic table. Nobody taught you how money actually works. Not how to build it. Not how to protect it. Not how it compounds. Not how taxes affect it. Not how wealthy people think about it differently than everyone else. And that gap is not accidental. The wealthy understand things about money that most people never learn. Not because the information is hidden, because it was never taught in the places most people get their education. Today, we go through what wealthy people actually know about money that school never taught you. Not mindset, platitudes. Not motivational quotes. Specific, functional knowledge that changes how money works in your life. What wealthy people know. 1. Assets versus liabilities. The most fundamental distinction in wealth building is one most people never learn explicitly. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out. That's it. That's the entire framework. A rental property that generates income above its costs. Asset. A car with a monthly payment. Liability. A stock portfolio producing dividends. Asset. A credit card balance charging interest. Liability. A business generating profit. Asset. A house you live in with a mortgage, taxes, and maintenance consuming cash. Liability that may appreciate, but currently a liability. Wealthy people spend their lives accumulating assets and minimizing liabilities. Most people spend their lives accumulating liabilities that look like assets. The car looks successful. The expensive house looks successful. The designer wardrobe looks successful. None of them put money in your pocket. All of them take money out. The wealthy accumulate things that produce income. The middle class accumulates things that consume income while appearing successful. This distinction changes every purchasing decision. Before you buy something significant, ask, is this putting money in my pocket or taking money out? What wealthy people know too. Tax is optional at certain income levels. This sounds controversial. It is simply true. Wealthy people pay dramatically lower effective tax rates than middle-class earners. Not because of loopholes in some illegal sense. Because of how the tax code is structured. Ordinary income wages, salary is taxed at the highest rates, up to 37% federally. Long-term capital gains profit from assets held over 1 year is taxed at 0, 15, or 20%. Qualified dividends are taxed at capital gains rates, not ordinary income rates. Borrowed money is not taxed at all. It's debt, not income. Here's how this plays out in practice. A wealthy person with a $10 million investment portfolio doesn't need to earn salary. The portfolio generates dividends taxed at 15%. When they need cash, they borrow against the portfolio at low interest rates. Debt, not income, not taxed. They effectively pay a lower tax rate than a teacher earning $60,000 in salary. This is not illegal. This is the tax code functioning exactly as designed. The wealthy know this. They structure their income to minimize ordinary income and maximize capital gains and dividend income. Most middle-class people earn exclusively ordinary income wages. They pay the highest rates available. They never learn that the tax code treats different types of income dramatically differently. Understanding this doesn't mean you can immediately restructure your income, but it means you understand what you're building toward. Every dollar you move from wage income to investment income changes your tax situation fundamentally. What wealthy people know. 3. Debt is a tool out of failure. Schools teach, debt is bad. Avoid debt. Being debt-free is the goal. Wealthy people know something different. There are two completely different types of debt. Bad debt, borrowing to consume things that depreciate. Credit cards for lifestyle. Car loans for depreciating vehicles. Personal loans for vacations. This debt costs you money to service and produces nothing in return. The wealthy avoid this debt aggressively. Good debt. Borrowing at low rates to acquire assets that appreciate or produce income of the cost of the debt. A mortgage at 6% on a rental property producing 9% cash on cash return. Good debt. The spread between cost and return is profit. A business loan at 7% funding a business producing 20% return on capital. Good debt. The debt is being used to amplify returns. Wealthy people use good debt aggressively to accelerate wealth building. They're not scared of debt. They're scared of the wrong kind of debt. Most people never learn this distinction. They're taught debt is universally bad. They avoid all debt, including the type that would build their wealth faster, or they use the wrong type of debt because nobody told them about the distinction. The framework is simple. Does this debt produce a return above its cost? If yes, it's working for you. If no, it's working against you. What wealthy people know. 4. Your network is your net worth. This has become a cliché, but the mechanism behind it is rarely explained. Wealthy people know that access to information, opportunities, and capital flows through relationships. The investment opportunity before it's public comes through a relationship. The job opening that never gets posted because someone thought of a person they trust, filled through a relationship. The business partnership that creates value for both parties, initiated through a relationship. The mentor who tells you what took them 20 years to learn, a relationship. These are not abstract benefits. They're specific, measurable financial advantages that flow through networks. The wealthy invest in relationships deliberately. They show up. They add value before they extract it. They maintain connections over decades. They introduce people who should know each other, not as manipulation, as the understanding that most opportunities in business and investment are distributed through trust networks before they reach open markets. Most people treat networking as uncomfortable self-promotion at awkward events. Wealthy people treat it as the cultivation of relationships that produce value for everyone involved over long periods. The financial return on genuine relationship investment is difficult to quantify, but consistently one of the highest returning activities wealthy people engage in. What wealthy people know. 5. Time is the only truly scarce resource. Schools teach you to trade time for money, work hours, receive wages. Wealthy people learn to build systems that generate money without requiring their time. This is the fundamental shift. Not earning more per hour, not working more hours. Building income that flows independent of time invested. A business with employees producing revenue whether the owner works or not. Income independent of time. An investment portfolio producing dividends. Income independent of time. A digital product selling automatically. Income independent of time. Real estate managed by a property manager. Income largely independent of time. Every wealthy person has moved some portion of their income from time dependent to time independent. This doesn't happen overnight. The early years often require more time than a salary job. You're building the system, but the goal is always explicit. Build something that earns while you sleep. Most people spend their entire careers optimizing their hourly rate. Wealthy people spend their careers building systems that don't need them. The question they ask that most people never ask: how do I create income that doesn't require my presence? What wealthy people know. 6. Financial education is a competitive advantage. Schools don't teach finance. Wealthy families do. Not always formally, but the conversations at the dinner table, the way money is discussed, the decisions explained, the mental models transmitted. A child who grows up hearing their parents discuss investment decisions, tax strategies, business decisions, and financial trade-offs enters adulthood with functional financial knowledge that most people never acquire. A child who grows up in a household where money is never discussed, where financial stress is hidden, where the mechanics of wealth are invisible, enters adulthood functionally illiterate about the system that will govern their entire life. This is one of the most significant sources of intergenerational wealth disparity. Not just the money passed down, the knowledge passed down. The wealthy invest in financial education continuously. Books, mentors, advisors, peer groups of people who talk honestly about money. Most people learn about money from whoever happens to be around them, which often means learning the same patterns that kept those people from building wealth. The competitive advantage of financial knowledge is enormous, and it's accessible. The books exist. The information is available. The people who know the stuff will often share it, but you have to actively seek it. School won't bring it to you. What wealthy people know. 7. The actual function of insurance. Most people think about insurance as a monthly bill they pay in case something bad happens. Wealthy people think about insurance as a specific tool for a specific function, protecting existing wealth from catastrophic loss. This changes everything about how you buy it. You don't need insurance for losses you can absorb. You need insurance for losses that would be catastrophic. A large deductible on auto insurance reduces your premium dramatically. The deductible is a loss you can absorb. The catastrophic accident is what you can't. The wealthy self-insure for small losses and buy insurance specifically for catastrophic ones. They have large emergency funds that absorb small financial shocks. They buy coverage against the things that would destroy what they've built. Disability insurance protects their ability to generate income if they can't work. This is catastrophic for most earners and almost never taught in schools. Umbrella liability insurance protects accumulated assets against lawsuits. One lawsuit without umbrella coverage can wipe out everything. $1 million of umbrella coverage costs roughly $200 to $300 annually. Most people either over-insure things that don't need insurance or under-insure things that do. The wealthy understand the function clearly and buy accordingly. 12 years of school, 0 classes on how money actually works. That gap is not accidental, and it's not going to be fixed by the school system. It's your gap to close. Assets versus liabilities. The tax treatment of different income types. Good debt versus bad debt. The financial function of relationships. Systems that earn without your time. Continuous financial education. Insurance as catastrophic protection. These are the frameworks that wealthy people use. Not because they're secrets, because they were taught them in environments most people never enter. You can enter now, not through school, through books, mentors, and deliberate learning. The wealthy understand money as a system with rules. Rules you can learn, and once you understand the rules, you can play the game. Not from the outside, wondering how it works. From the inside, making it work for you.